Geographically. Geographically. This is cool. So I would say make sure that pretty face is showing.
Yes, true.
They're going to want to see that fucking thing. They're going to want to see that fucking thing, Alan. That fucking face. You good? Ready? Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to another special episode of the Hyper Conscious Podcast with Alan.
What's going on, everybody?
Probably the best, got to be the best intro to date right there.
Yeah, maybe.
Yeah. What are we going to talk about today, Alan? We teased it on the last episode, but what are we going to talk about?
So if you did listen to the last episode, we talked about...
Which if you haven't, you should.
Yes, also true. And today we're going to talk about, has America gotten soft? And we're going to speak about America because obviously we live in America.
We do.
So we can relate to that. And we are not immune to this either.
No.
But we've had 4 or 5 generations now of pretty strong prosperity overall, with obviously a few hiccups. And what has it been doing to us as a culture, as a society?
Yes. So this started for me, this thought started for me when, I know you're not a big consumer of Instagram. You don't really consume it. You add value through Instagram. That's basically what you do with it.
Yeah.
You know, I do consume it. I started off consuming it. That's why I think I have a decent idea of what will work and what won't and whatever.
Yeah.
But regardless.
Good idea of what the people want,
What
Kevin.
the people want. Got to give them what they want. I was seeing videos of people doing this thing called the Tide Pod Challenge,
Yes.
where people would just eat Tide Pods. And I want to make this clear. If you have a son or daughter who is like 3 years old and they ate it and you want to change the shape of it because it looks like candy, totally understand.
I saw a commercial with Tide
Totally
Pods
understand.
not long ago. They're like multicolored, right? And they're like little,
I got 'em in the
little
basement.
plastic containers.
Yeah,
You do? Okay.
yeah. They kind of
So
like... if
you
you're-
do your laundry with them.
Yeah.
Is basically, okay.
Yeah.
Yep.
If you're young, if you're super young and like 3 to 7 years old and you like... I understand if you're a parent of a child.
Yes.
But that's not... I don't think that's where this started. This started with people old enough to have cell phones,
Yeah.
which means they have to have peanuts going on in their brains. Like they
Some
have...
common sense.
You know, if you can use a cell phone, you should know better than to eat a Tide Pod.
Yeah.
And it's called the Tide Pod Challenge. If you're taking a video of yourself doing something that stupid and then writing hashtag, this is why I'm doing it,
What's the hashtag? Tide Pod Challenge?
Tide Pod Challenge. Like, come on, man.
And people are dying.
Yeah.
Getting sick.
Yeah, it's poison.
It's poison, yeah. It's bleach, all this other
It's
stuff.
all this. It's like eating your dishwasher fluid. It's the same thing.
Okay.
Like, you can't do that.
Yeah.
And that's where it started for me because it's like, not the fact that people are doing it, the fact that the immediate response was, oh yeah, we got to change the shape of these.
Change the shape.
We're going
of
to take them off the market. It's like, at some point, you have to take responsibility for your own actions.
Yeah.
You know, and
Very
that's
true.
why I think another thing, like, it's such a fine line, right? Because bullying is such a terrible thing now. Like, people are killing themselves every day over bullying.
Yeah.
And it's so sad, man. It's so sad. And I don't want anybody to think that I don't have compassion for that. That's not what this is about at all.
Yeah.
Like, I'm not saying people are getting soft when it comes to that. Like, if you're getting bullied every day, I can only imagine what you're going home and dealing with, the feelings you're dealing with, telling or having people tell you to kill yourself. Like, I've never experienced that, thank God. I know people who have, you know.
Experienced bullying.
Yeah, for sure. Chris Hansen, we sat down and talked about that on our episode of the podcast. He was heavier growing up. He was bullied a lot.
Yeah.
And I think that's one of the reasons he's so passionate about fitness now.
Kids are very brutally honest.
Right.
And I think that I know, I actually talked about this with Jenny not long ago. There's someone that I bullied when I was in like Taft. Do you remember Taft Elementary School?
Mm-hmm.
And this is one person I've ever bullied in my entire life, and it was only for one sort of phase that I went through, 3 or 4 months, I think. And at recess, I would, remember when you put your leg behind somebody and you trip them?
Yeah.
I was doing that to this
I'm
kid
super
who
good
was-
at that.
Who, yeah. That was like a thing back then, yo-yos and that, for whatever reason. And this one kid in particular, I won't name his name, and if I ever do meet him again, I'm going to apologize for sure, because that That's the only bullying I've ever done, and I fortunately grew out of that very quickly. But I went to a middle school, tore the school not long ago. There's so much of that, man. And with delicate minds that haven't matured yet to where they're already self-conscious.
And that's why I think it's super important. Like, I don't want people to think I'm talking shit about that. Like, the bullying is terrible, and the fact that people are killing themselves over what other people are saying to them is fucking terrible.
Yeah.
It's terrible. And I can only imagine having a child being bullied. Like, I can only imagine how hard that is, and like, what do you do as a parent? So I want people to know that that's not what this is about.
Yeah.
This is about having to be super correct all the time, and like, if you get your feelings hurt, instead of checking in with yourself and like why you may be getting your feelings hurt, it's not that. It's like, well, go to your safe space. Like, I understand people need that, but there has to be a place for feedback. There has to be a place where you take your thoughts and your feelings and your emotions and you look them straight in the eye and you understand what they mean. You go hyperconscious. That's what hyperconscious is.
Yep.
You know, it's
hyperconscious is going out and doing things that will give you feedback on yourself.
And knowing what that feedback means.
Yeah, exactly. And what to do with it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think it's, dude, like,
not knowing what it means, finding out what it means to you, and then figuring out what to do.
Yeah. It's just a weird time to be alive. Like, comedians are getting in trouble for their jokes. It's like, he's a comedian.
Yeah.
Like, that's his job.
Is to make people laugh.
To make people laugh. Comedians are the people who get to go over the line. That's their job. They're good at that.
Yeah.
And like, you shouldn't, it's a weird time.
What
are your thoughts? Because you can see, like, I'm in a weird spot, man.
That's why this is going to be such a good conversation, because you can tell neither one of us have really tried to articulate this fully, and we have mixed emotions about it.
Yeah.
Because obviously on the one side, it's like understandable, but then on the other side, we see the what's happening to people.
Right.
And it's like, we're getting soft, extremely soft, which is bad in the long run, even though in the short term, it seems like the
right
easier option or the right thing to do, because
Right.
you want to have compassion and empathy, but you also don't want to get soft. Life is challenging as hell.
Right.
And being soft is going to not create any growth.
Right. It's like, so I don't have kids, but like, okay, 30 years ago you could spank your kids, no problem.
Yeah.
Now you can't spank your kids because if somebody sees you do it, you're a child abuser, and it's the worst thing of all time.
Should we bring it real? Have you been hit?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah,
Big time.
But
okay.
I'm thankful for that.
Okay. Interesting.
I don't care.
Yeah.
I probably deserved it. If I deserved it, sure. I told my mom to fuck off, and she put dish soap in my mouth. She told me she was going to do it. And I was like, fuck you, bitch. And then she did it. Mama. But, like, I would never hold that against.
Jeez. Yeah,
like,
No.
What are you supposed to do?
Yeah.
If she told me she was going to do it, that's my own fault. But if you're not getting, even as a child, if you're not getting feedback, regardless of the kind.
Well, this is the whole 7th place trophy thing.
Right.
It's the same idea.
You should not get a fucking trophy for being in 8th place.
Tony Robbins hates that about how we've done that with culture. It's like everybody wins. Then what's the point of the game? You're devaluing the actual victory.
Right. And then they'll say, well, it's not about winning. It's about having fun. Sure, it's about having fun.
Yeah.
Getting an 8th place trophy is not fun.
Yeah. I won the 5th place my first show, and I literally joke and I say I got a participation award.
Right.
I beat one person, and there shouldn't be 5 trophies when there's 6 competitors. And I didn't deserve the W. I didn't prepare enough. And honestly, knowing that and that pain in the moment is what catalyzed me to win my next show.
Right.
Because at the end of the day, improving is what matters, not being, totally okay with oneself 24/7, 365. You got to have a little bit of pain.
Yeah.
Turn that pain into power, because that's where the growth is.
It's like there's little kid soccer leagues that just don't keep score anymore. And it's like, I understand you want your kid to have fun, but what if your child wants to be a professional soccer player? Like, you have to know what losing is. You have to.
You have to. And
just
otherwise,
have
you
to.
don't know the value of winning.
No.
And, dude, we talk about this all the time. Life is a meritocracy. I always say that. My mentor says this all the time. And what do I mean by meritocracy? Because a lot of people don't know what that word means. Merit. Like, when you go into the business world, when you go into the world, when you go into the gym is a great analogy. We always use it. It's a meritocracy. If you can lift more than me, it's because you are stronger, and it's because you worked harder than me up to that point.
Right.
And, and it's like a meritocracy is the cream rises to the top. Like if you want to be employed, I always say this, employers are very, very good at sniffing out people who don't have high standards, who don't have self-discipline, who don't want feedback. One of my mentors, who's a CEO of many different companies that he's turned around, he said to me, Alan, look for the people who walk towards the fire, not the people who run from it. Those are the people you want in your circle.
Yeah.
Look for the people who look for the challenge, not the people who are running from the challenge. And that's who you want to be, because that's what will create growth. And at the end of the day, if you aren't growing, you're not going to be more capable. And if you're not more capable, you're not going to have the level of success that you want to have in your life, the freedom and all of that stuff. So it's tough to articulate why not having... You got to have compassion and empathy.
For sure.
Especially when it's circumstantial, like with little kids, for example. You got to know the individual situation,
right.
And you've got to understand that when you're a kid, everything seems like the end of the world. You got to put yourself in that place. But at the same time, if you're 21 recording you popping Tide Pods,
right.
like, I'm sorry,
you're a fucking idiot.
What the fuck?
You're just an idiot.
Yeah, you're like... And
like 15 years ago, what would have happened? Would there be this uprise that we need to change the shape of it? No. There'd be a PSA that, hey, you're a dumbass. Don't do this.
Yeah.
Just don't do this.
Stop doing that.
It just doesn't make sense. That just doesn't make sense to me. And the participation trophies and the no scores. When you're a child, you're getting prepared for life.
Yeah.
And if you're not prepared correctly, what's going to happen when you don't get the job you apply for, when your girlfriend dumps you, when when you don't get the mortgage you apply? Like,
dude,
you need to learn how to fail, just like you need to learn how to walk, like you need to learn how to succeed, like you need to learn how to share. You're teaching your kids to share. It's super important to share.
Yeah.
It's also super important to understand that you're not going to win every single time. And if you do, you're probably not having that great of a life.
This lack of feedback and this us getting soft and this participation trophy award stuff, a lot of it comes down to not measuring. Like you said, soccer games without a score.
Right.
You're not measuring anything.
Right.
And therefore you don't have anything to set your standard by, anything to improve upon. You don't have any sort of measurement as to whether or not you're succeeding or failing. It makes succeeding and failing meaningless. And by the way, when you go into the real world, everything is measured. Every company measures their finances, measures productivity. My numbers were posted on the wall in those sales jobs for everyone to see. They literally pit us against each other. Why? Because competition breeds incentive to be better.
Right.
Okay, and that's biological inside of us. Like it's
looking super jacked over there.
Thank you, brother.
You know.
Thank you.
Okay.
Speaking of competition, friendly competition
There
is
is
a good
none.
thing. You've got to measure your progress. That's why people don't want to step on the scale. We talked about a lot of people come to us with fitness advice, and I one of my mentors, I'm training him. And I always ask him, like, where's the scale moving? And a lot of times he's like, I haven't, like, stepped on it in a while. It's like, why not? You got to go look at the scale. You know why not? Because you haven't been doing what you're doing, and you know that, and you don't want to see the number.
Right.
Because the number's not going to show what you want it to show. Two things are going to happen when you step on the scale. You're going to be pleasantly surprised, and it's going to remotivate you. Or you're going to find out the truth, which is I'm not doing what I need to do to get the goal, the result. And I need to make a shift. And either way, you win.
It's like worrying about your money, but never when you get so low in your bank account where you're afraid to check it. Like that's a meme. It's like, oh, I'm afraid to check my bank account because I don't think there's anything in there.
Yeah.
Well, you probably should.
And the only way there's ever going to be something in there is if you check it.
Yeah.
And start changing according to that.
And I know I bust a lot on memes, but like the reason I do that is because so many people like memes because they're things that most people haven't thought about writing down. Like, they're funny things that people do that most people haven't thought about writing down. That's what a meme is. That's why it's funny to you.
Yeah.
Like,
should we go into what a meme actually means?
You can, because you seem to be the meme master.
So there's
Mementics or Mementos or Mentos or candy.
Would you like a Mento?
I would love one.
It looks too much like a Tide Pod.
Oh, change that shape.
Memetics is where the word meme comes from, and memetics is basically mind viruses.
Oh,
yeah.
Well, that one.
So a viral meme is called a meme for a reason, and that's why it's spelled M-E-M-E rather than M-E-E-M. which I thought was fascinating because I always wondered, like, meme is
Yeah.
spelt with M-E-M-E.
Yeah.
Why is that? It's because it's short for memetics, which is mind viruses. A mind virus is basically like if the whole world believes that we went to the moon, whether we did or didn't, it's true. We did, by the way. I don't. I absolutely believe we did. I'm not in any of that.
We're not
stuff.
going to go down.
Yeah, we're not going to go down.
conspiracy
Yeah, not at all. I absolutely 100%. So everyone knows, believe that we absolutely went to the moon. I shouldn't have used that. But basically, when enough people believe something, it becomes kind of like a sort of accepted reality, regardless of when the world was flat. That's a better example because we thought the world was flat. Everyone just thought that, and we thought Pluto was a planet. Now it's not, all this stuff. So the point is that's what memetics is, and it's a meme. So one of the, try to circle that back to going soft. Memes you don't think give feedback.
No. The people, like, I like memes. I think memes are funny. Okay, so there's a good one. Matt and I have this, like, we have so many inside jokes because we spend a lot of time together and, we have a lot of inside jokes. But there was this meme that was like, it was a picture of a dude in like a dark room and it was like, hello, demons, it's your boy. We think this house is haunted. So we say that all the time. We're always like, when we walk in the house, we'll be like, yo, demons, we're home. It's your boys. And because we think the house is haunted.
Okay.
So to us.
You actually do?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Things happen, man. Weird things happen.
All right, here we go. This podcast went off the rails.
No. But to us, like,
speaking of going soft,
that hits home. I'm so scared.
Yeah.
That hits home for us.
Okay.
Like, that's an accurate meme.
Yeah.
If somebody was like, if they made a meme about chasing your dreams.
Okay.
Like, if I made a meme, the hardest day of my life was the day I realized I was in control of it.
That's
Some
awesome,
people
meme.
would be like,
I love
right off
that.
the top. You know what I mean? I'm a fucking.
I love that.
A G.
That's great.
The people that associate with that would be like, oh shit, yeah.
Yeah.
That's what I feel, but I didn't have. Take it easy out there, Tom. I didn't have the wherewithal or the knowledge or the ability or the care to make a meme about that. A meme to me is something that a lot of people think of. It just doesn't end up coming to fruition. Doesn't end up on a concrete place.
Yeah.
I'm probably not
until someone eventually does.
Until somebody eventually does, and you're like, oh shit, how accurate is that?
Yeah. On the very first podcast that you brought me on, right after the introduction, so it's actually the first episode. Though,
Yes.
You said, Alan, isn't it funny how romantic comedies, it's like the guy and the girl get together, they go through some challenges, and then they're like happily ever after.
Yeah.
And everyone watches romantic comedies. Like, do you think that people make movies and media to cater to that because everyone can relate?
Absolutely.
Yeah. Totally.
The way everything is set, the more and more I learn about things, and the more and more I realize that every single thing has a reason.
Every single thing has a reason.
Every single
Even
thing,
if you're unaware of the reason.
Yeah, there's a reason.
Yeah.
There's a reason.
What up, Tom?
What up, Tom? Tom's outside the window.
He's outside the window. He
told
said
me-
he would wait.
I told him he can't come in because we're podcasting.
Exactly. Priorities.
Dream team.
Priorities.
I don't know, man. I just feel like we're in a super weird time.
Yeah.
I feel like we're in a super weird time. We were talking earlier, like, okay, so Netflix, for example.
Yes.
I fucking love Netflix.
Yeah,
I watch
of
Netflix every night before bed.
Okay.
Right?
Yep.
And I would argue that might not be the best thing.
Mm-hmm.
I should be listening to motivational stuff or maybe even meditation before I go to bed.
Okay.
Right? For sure. I know that.
Yeah, or journaling or whatever.
Whatever it is.
Yeah.
Something.
Something that invests your time.
Right. I just like Parks and Rec.
Yeah.
I just really like Parks and Rec.
I think there's a place for that. I
Right.
just think it needs to be balanced. I told you
I
about
agree.
this at the gym earlier. Netflix is, and I heard this from a friend, so don't quote me on this.
I'm
one
gonna
of my
take a
friends-
picture of you and I'm gonna quote whatever you say on this picture.
Well, Ryan is from LA and he's back. Actually, recently I was with him and he said, "You know how many?"
Shout out to Ryan Moore. Check out the episode.
Yes.
Moving Cross Country to Chase Your Dreams with Ryan Moore, I believe is the name of
Yes. Do you know which episode?
it. No.
20, I think it was like 18, 19, something like that. Anyways, he said, do you know how many, because he's in the industry, he's in the thick of all this, do you know how many shows Netflix has bankrolled for next year? And he said 700. Now, I don't know whether or not that's true, but I have noticed that there's people that are pumping out content.
Yeah.
And the problem with pumping out that much content is you wonder to yourself, like, how many people actually have the time to watch all of these shows? When you go on Netflix and you find it caters what you like, right? These shows are long, man.
Oh yeah.
Like, it's like a movie that never ends. Like Westworld, Jenny and I started watching that a year ago, and we only got through 2 seasons because we are busy humans.
It's such an investment of time.
The opposite of productivity is sitting there doing nothing. And Netflix, I love it too. I watch it too. I told you I watch movies in the background while I'm
Right.
working on my phone and
Right.
stuff like that. I'm not saying Netflix isn't a good thing. I'm saying that if it's overused, it's going to make you soft.
Right. And if you're not conscious of this, there's a good chance you're going to overuse it. Like
Yeah.
I before I shifted into this and I really, really wanted to take control of my own life,
Yeah.
I would watch Netflix all day. All day.
All day.
I would do nothing. I would go to the gym and then I'd watch Netflix all day
I can't even
while
picture
scrolling
that.
Instagram.
I can't even picture that life anymore.
Right.
So for someone who's there, because
Yep.
what do we say to them? What is that doing to them?
So
And you've been there. So this is what did it do to you? Based on where you are now mentally, emotionally, spiritually, physically, versus what it did to you back then.
it really, really, really helps cement you into just gliding through life.
Yeah.
You just-
Autopilot.
You go to work,
Yeah.
go home, go to the gym, watch Netflix for 4 hours, and then go to sleep.
Yep.
Like that becomes your routine.
That's not living.
That's not living.
Yeah.
No. And what I would say to people is this, like I just said, so you guys can use this as an example. Like this is me failing.
Okay.
Use this as an example. This is me failing. I want you guys to listen to this and realize like this is how you have to break it down. This is how I break it down. I'll be laying in bed. I'll be like, okay, you know what? I have a really, really good meditation video. Really, it's a video, but it's a YouTube video, but it's the audio, obviously.
Yeah.
I should just listen to that while I fall asleep. Problem. Can't charge my phone when I do that. Issue. Or solution. I'll use my wireless headphones.
Perfect.
Issue. My phone has to be closed for me to upload this podcast,
Yep.
to me to upload this.
Yep.
Boom. I just listed 2 excuses and I landed on one I could use. Boom. I'm going to use that.
And you didn't follow
Parks and
through.
Rec tonight, baby.
Yeah.
So
Yep.
I'm joking about it, but it's serious. Like
It is very serious because those little things add up to everything.
those little things add up. And
There's
once-
always a reason not to do something.
Right.
But there's a million reasons not to. There's one reason to do it
Right.
because it's going to be good for you.
Today, man, I told you, I woke up. I went to bed at 2:30 last night. I was up doing my post. I was rolling out. I was doing yoga.
Oh, yeah.
I was also watching UFC and boxing.
Yep.
Shout out to Ryan Garcia, 19 years old, on top of the fucking world. Jesus.
Good for him, man.
Stud. But I went to bed at 2:30.
Yep.
Doesn't matter. 6:30 gym session. I have to be there. That's what I do.
Yeah.
I woke up and I had every excuse, man. My legs hurt. My shoulders killing me.
Yep.
I can't do this. I can't do that. I can't do this.
Yeah.
And eventually, I just broke down every excuse. Like, come on, man. Like,
You got this.
you got this.
Yeah.
You're doing an
Worst
episode on
case
being
scenario, at least-
soft today. You're going to be soft? Like, go to the fucking gym, man.
Yeah.
And that's...
Oh, I have such a good thing to go into.
Yeah, let's go.
I love it.
We're drinking hot chocolate, by the way. It's
Yes,
great.
we are. It is phenomenal.
Thin mint hot chocolate.
I usually don't like mint in anything but toothpaste, but this is legit.
And anything but toothpaste. I've never heard anybody say that.
It's true.
Is there any toothpaste that doesn't have mint in it?
I don't know.
Interesting. That was a weird noise.
Dramatic drinking of the hot chocolate. So I want to talk a little bit about, and this is to help people because it's very difficult to be really hard on yourself but compassionate with others, which I think is so important.
You think it is?
I do. So empathy and compassion and kindness is super important when it comes to other people, and you want to be kind to yourself too. But here's the thing. People always say, like, love yourself. I think people misunderstand that to the point where it's like, how about this? Love your best self.
Yeah.
Don't love the you who's not following through on anything. Don't love the you who's a lazy slob. Like, you gotta be a little bit hard on yourself sometimes.
Would you date yourself? I think that's a good way to put it.
That's a great way to put it.
Like,
Yes.
would you date yourself?
Did you want my answer? My immediate answer.
I know.
Was hell yes.
You'd be like, honestly, yeah. Is it
Yeah.
possible?
Yeah. Did you see me go there?
Yeah.
Wait, can I do that?
Is there a way to do that?
Oh, that's so
but,
funny.
But I always think of that. Like, would I date myself? Would I be my friend?
Talk about the mirror.
Would I
Yeah.
reach out for advice? Like,
Yeah.
the answer to that is yes.
Would I
think-
believe in me?
Right.
Yeah.
Right. Like, you have
Ooh,
to.
That's fucking huge.
You got to Miyagi yourself.
You do. Miyagi yourself. I
Miyagi.
love it.
But
We should really bring that reference down to earth for people.
You-
So
that's-
if you saw the Karate Kid, Mr. Miyagi was
Which, if you're 20 years old, you probably didn't.
yeah,
realistically,
exactly.
because it was fucking 20 years
Yeah,
ago.
we're dating ourselves.
You're dating yourself. I've
But
never seen it.
basically, he was trying to teach him. He was trying to learn karate, and Mr. Miyagi was like making him paint the fence, making him, clean the car, do all this work. And he's like, "I want to learn karate. What the hell?" And then he eventually realized like wax on, wax off was actually blocking punches, and then like it was karate moves. So Mr. Miyagi would like try to hit him, and he would like block it.
They're making a new one of those, by the way.
They are. That's awesome.
They're going to butcher it probably like they do with every single other movie.
I love that movie because it's the power of a mentor.
Yeah.
Who knows your best interest. You think you're working on a fence when in reality,
Right.
I Miyagi Kevin all the time.
Yeah, he does. If you could not say it in that sexual tone, I would really appreciate it.
But you just talked about dating
Yourself.
No.
I would date the shit out of myself.
So how do we get... I always say standards. You got to have ridiculously high standards for yourself. But you have to be compassionate with others, in my opinion. Do you disagree? And that's fine if you do.
No. But I don't think it's hard to be compassionate for others.
No, I don't necessarily... So imagine if you're hard on yourself all the time and you have these ridiculously high standards and you always force yourself to like... Eminem has a quote where he says, "I bully myself to do what I follow through on." Or
Yeah.
something.
I should know it, but I don't. I know what you're saying.
It's in Rap God.
Yep.
But the point is like you gotta bully yourself a little.
Yeah.
Because otherwise you're just gonna go into your natural state, which by the way, our natural state is lazy.
Survival.
As human beings.
Just survive.
When you have all your needs met, which by the way, America,
Right.
you are lazy. Period. By your default.
Right.
Now you have to shoot high and then force yourself to follow through because those challenges in order to get to that high is where all the growth is.
So this is another thing. And like you just said, I want everybody to love themselves.
Yeah,
I
for
do.
sure. For sure.
I do.
Love your best self.
But love, yeah, like there's a fine line between like me saying, you know what, I love myself. I'm an alcoholic, but it is what it is.
Yeah, but this is just me.
This is just me.
No, this is
That's
where
not
you
best
are. This
you.
isn't who you are.
What would best Bob do? What would best Brittany do? Like, what would the best version of you do?
Yeah.
That's what you should do. Joe Rogan, be the fucking
Hero of your
own story. Like,
Yeah.
you can't put it any better than that. That is a great way to put it.
That is an excellent way to put it.
Nobody's going to watch your movie if you're just sitting around all day, not getting after your dreams.
I know.
You know?
So, balance.
Yeah.
I watch Netflix, you watch Netflix.
Yeah.
There is a time, 80-20 is my thing. I think that we live in a world of bench warmers, if I'm completely honest. There's a lot of people that are in the game, getting after it. Yeah, they get injured sometimes. Yeah, they have upsets. Yeah, they lose sometimes, but they're growing and they're happy. Bench warmers are people watching. They're simulating it. Meaning when you watch a Netflix show, you're connecting with characters.
I said that earlier.
Yes, you did. You're not connecting with real people.
Right.
Now imagine if that's all you did. You wouldn't have any real relationships.
Like when I was in New Hampshire?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah,
Living in the
alone.
woods by myself?
Exactly. Were you fulfilled? You might have been happy in those moments, but were you fulfilled?
No.
Exactly.
No, I was depressed.
Fulfillment comes from real relationships, achieving real goals that matter to you and to your loved ones and to the world. So when you're watching, the best analogy I can use for this is video games. So for those of you who don't know, I used to be big into professional gaming. I played Halo 1, Halo 2, Diablo 2, StarCraft 2. I had one of the best StarCraft 2 2v2 teams in the world, me and Ben Zeiss. Shout out to you,
Shout out to
brother.
Ben Zeiss.
I shouldn't say in the world, in the continent, actually, because Asia's a whole nother level with StarCraft 2.
Yeah.
But the point is I know video games very well, and they set video games up to simulate goal achievement because we are goal achievement creatures.
Right.
Think about hunter-gatherers. You didn't just wake up and watch Netflix and survive.
Right.
You woke up and you had to go survive. You had to build shelters. You had to protect your family. You had to fight battles and wars. You had to hunt and gather. You don't just wake up and exist and just hang
Right.
out. And therefore, you had to go and achieve goals. If their goal was to hunt a couple rabbits and feed their family, our goal is, to make some money to feed our family. It's different goals, but goals nonetheless. Here's what video games do. Diablo 2 is a great example. I'm dating myself because this is an older game. But
Old as fuck.
Let's use World of Warcraft because that's the most known.
Look, I don't know any of these games.
Okay, fair enough. But people know the idea. There's something called quests. You basically have a quest where you have to go out on an adventure to achieve a specific result, a specific goal. And you have a team of people, a squad that you go with. And when you achieve that quest, you get experience. and you level your character up and you get new armor, you get new equipment, and you get new skills. You can add stats, dexterity, strength, all that kind of stuff. You evolve. This is literally simulating success.
Right.
I know that video games are awesome and they're fun, but I'm telling you, kids are getting a hold of them really young, and they're becoming a boss in a video game, not a boss in real life. Now, one caveat, the industry of esports is huge. If you're becoming a boss in a video game that's very valuable, marketable, like Halo 2 back in the day, multimillionaires that I used to play with, pro gamers, then keep doing that. But if you're just playing a game to play a game and you're not ever going to make it a business or be a part of that marketplace, you are becoming a boss in a virtual world.
Right.
And it makes you feel the same as if you were a boss in the real world, but you will have to come back to the real world. And when you do, you're not going to have the growth that would have came with making real connections, with real squads, with real goals. Same with Netflix. All these shows are designed to make you think you're achieving things. You're connecting with these characters. It's like, it's a challenge. You know, there's a lot of drama going on. There's fighting. It's a whole thing. Your mind cannot tell the difference between what you're really experiencing and what you're simulating. So at the end of the show, you feel unfulfilled because you didn't actually do any of that. The results are the same. You're at the same place as when you started. Whereas if you were to go out and try those things on your own, even though the challenges and the pain would be more in the moment, at the end you'd be in a higher place. Spiritually, mentally, physically, emotionally, financially.
Just went deep.
I went deep.
That was deep. That was probably the deepest you've gone in a minute.
Nah, it's been a while.
I like that though, man.
Thank
what
you.
do you? So I'm gonna hit you with a humdinger. What do you think about? Do you think? Obviously, laziness goes hand in hand with obesity. I don't care. I don't care what you say. I don't care. Don't care. Sorry, don't care.
Speaking of compassion for others.
I'm so compassionate.
I know. I know. You totally are. I'm not
No, I know.
I'm not making you wrong.
No.
Yeah.
Oh, you couldn't if you
That's
tried.
a good example.
You
of
couldn't
soft,
make
by
me
the way,
wrong if
'cause
you
that's
tried.
physically soft because of mental softness.
But what I mean is like, so what would you attribute or attest that to? Obviously, and let's just get rid of the simple ones. Fast food, cheap, high calorie, not good for you.
There's a lot of reasons.
Lack of time.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
We'll take those off the table because
Sedentary lifestyles.
most people don't have the time. Prioritize differently and you'll find the time.
Yeah.
There was it you? Who told me this? Nate. On a call with Nate. Fuck, I don't remember who he was talking to. Nate went to meet a financial advisor a while ago.
Nate Smith.
Nate Smithson, a long
Nice.
time ago.
Shout out to you, brother.
Shout out to Big Nate. Love you, brother. You're killing it.
Killing it.
The guy was like, look, I'm going to tell you something, man. I sit down with people, and they just lose 3 to 4 hours a day. They don't know where the fuck they went.
Yeah.
They have no idea where they went.
Yep.
He had Nate do it. He said, Nate, sit down and write down everything you do in the day. Nate was missing 3 hours. He's like, where the fuck did those 3 hours go?
Interesting.
I thought I was efficient.
Yeah.
Nate is super efficient.
Yeah. He's next level.
It's like that with money.
Yep.
It's like that with
With your body, your calories,
everything.
Yep.
You're
It's autopilot.
yeah, man.
Yeah.
It's like I understand you don't have the time. I understand that. But if you have the time to watch 3 hours of Netflix, you have the time.
Yes. You don't think you have the time.
So what do you attest it to? Let's just say on a level set, we're all super busy and we all have the availability to have fast food.
Okay. I think it all comes down to we're going to do this. This is going to be good.
Famous last words.
There's a quote from a movie, The Departed. You've seen the movie?
I have seen The
Okay.
Departed.
So Jack Nicholson's character in that says a quote, I don't want to be a product of my environment. I want my environment to be a product of me. I always loved that quote. This was back in 2005. I was young at this point. I still picked up on that. Here's why. We are all a product of our environment. We learn through osmosis. Think about when you learned languages. You were around your parents. If they spoke multiple languages, what do you know? You speak multiple languages. If they spoke one language, what do you know? You speak one language. You weren't just conjugating verbs out of the blue on your own. You just monkey see, monkey do. You learn through osmosis. We are all a product of our environment. Standards. Here's the thing. You, me, Matt, Nate, who you associate with is going to be whether or not you're leveling up or down in physical fitness, in financial wellness, in mental I said this to you earlier. Sharp minds sharpen one
Yeah.
another. That's a John Maxwell quote. Dull minds dull sharp minds. So stay clear of that. And this is John Maxwell, one of the most compassionate souls on the planet. But he knows if I'm around a bunch of dull minds, my sharp mind will eventually become dull.
Yeah.
The only way to really change if we all are a product of our environment, the only way to really change yourself is to first consciously change your environment.
Yep.
So think about it this way. I went down to Florida for that TV show with Terrence, who we might have on the podcast.
Shout
by the
out
way.
to Terrence.
Yeah, Terrence. Hopefully we'll get you on the show. Huge mentor of mine. Very, very brilliant mind, especially financially. Jesus. And so he brought me down to Florida for his free recovery TV show.
Yep.
Because I had struggled with alcohol in the past.
Yep. How many days sober?
220.
Congratulations.
Thank you, brother.
Dude, it's going to be a
220.
year in no time.
I know. It's
220.
crazy.
220.
220. 220. It's so exciting. But when I went down there, I was in Florida. We were in Jacksonville. And I was like, holy shit, everyone's in shape. Oh, yeah. Everyone's in shape.
Right.
Because the standard is so much higher. Now, there's a couple reasons for this. And I know that I'm circling around your question, but this is
no
important
worries.
shit. Number one, it's nice weather year-round. So
Right.
you have incentive to
Y
look
power.
good year-round in skimpier clothes. Not only that, when everyone has that incentive, everyone has higher standards, everyone wants to be more fit, therefore everyone talks about being fit more, therefore the lifestyle is more. Not to mention it's also nice outdoors, so you're more active.
Right.
It's everything combined, but it all stems to one effing thing. You want it more. When you're around a bunch of ridiculously in-shape athletes, I am telling you, you are going to want to be in shape because you're going to see how awesome it is in the flesh. And then that want is going to turn into one of two things. You're either going to go back to your old friends who are all out of shape that make you feel comfortable, or you're going to take action, get in better shape so that you feel more comfortable in that room.
Right.
That is how human beings are designed. That's why you become the sum average of the 5 people you spend the most time with. So we have to up our own standards. Because the only way your environment is going to be a product of you and not the other way around is if you raise the standards so high that you're going to attract the right people to you and not the other way around. And you also have to stay conscious of the people you're around and like, okay, listen, if I'm around a bunch of out of shape people, it's not going to motivate me to be in better shape. So I have to balance it. Okay, I'll spend 20% of my time with those people.
Right.
Right? Because that's the only way you're in your control of your destiny.
It's hard because like you started that. You're like, you know what? Fuck it. We're just gonna do it.
Yeah.
We're just gonna say it. A lot of
This
things
is about not being soft.
Yeah, well, but a lot of things, man.
The truth hurts.
It's like
At
some things are gonna sound hard. They're gonna sound harsh, but you've heard them the other way your entire life, and that's why you believe them that way.
Yeah.
Like some things should not be sugarcoated. This is such a fine like.
Think about it this way. When I went down to Florida, and I know I
you're
interrupted you
fine.
because I want you to
Yeah,
go on that point.
yeah.
When I went down to Florida, are they more educated about fitness than us?
Most likely not.
We live in New England. New England. When we came in 1776 and we got our freedom, we came from Great Britain. New England is called New England because it's England. It's where everything started. It's the educational capital of the world. We have the smartest
best
people per
schools.
capita
Yeah.
and the highest IQ per capita on the planet. Why are we so damn out of shape? Is it because people don't know how to get in shape?
No, it's because people are
It's
lazy.
because the standard is so fucking low.
Right.
Which fortunately, us being us, we can raise that standard for people and show them that. I remember when I first met Nate, he raised my standards. He showed me what was also possible for me. That's what mentors will do.
See, the obesity thing is a fine line to me, and I don't want to sound like an asshole. I don't, and I am super compassionate. I am. But if you're one of those people that says like if you genuinely don't care about what you look like, and you're just saying, you know what, I don't care if I'm in shape or not. I'm happy with me. All right, okay. But if you say that and you don't mean it, and you really do
It's only
want
hurting you.
change, you're just fucking yourself up.
Yeah.
You are.
Yep.
You're like, it's a fine thing, man. It's like, I don't know. What if I had a daughter?
Yeah.
What if I had a daughter? I love her more than anything in the world, more than anything in the fucking world. and she just doesn't care about fitness, and she's obese, and she's unhealthy, and she's on medication, she's pre-diabetic. What am I supposed to do? Baby,
Honestly,
you're fine. You're fine the way you are. No, you're not. You're not.
This is not okay.
This is not okay.
Something has to change.
Something has to change.
You know what the best way you can
People
do
are afraid to say that, though, man.
I know.
Like,
I know.
I'm not an
That's such a
asshole.
good
I don't
point.
want to be the asshole.
Why are they afraid to say that?
Because it hurts
In the moment, but
and
it's
that's
best
one of
in the
those
long
things
run.
you're not supposed. It's like, I'm not saying this to. I'm sorry, microphone. I'm not saying it to bully you. I'm saying it because
help
I
you.
want to help you.
So how do you approach that? Like in that circumstance, that exact circumstance you just described.
Yeah.
What do you do as her father?
You Miyagi her.
How? Like what would you actually say to her? Like let's bring ourselves there.
So
'Cause this will help people.
Well, it's. I was going to say
Because you got to bring it with love.
It's not. Yeah, for
because
sure.
you got to have compassion.
So you know what motivates her. If she's your daughter, I'm assuming I would know what motivates her, what she likes,
Yep.
right? There's a couple of different ways you could do it. You could try to gauge and instill interest in various activities. Like, if you notice she likes cheerleading movies, like she's always watching Bring It On or something like that.
Yeah.
Oh, have you ever thought about doing that?
Yeah.
Oh, have you ever thought about, we can go to the gym and you can dive into the foam pit and you can try the parallel bars and you can do this, you can do that. Or, Dad goes to the gym every morning at 5 a.m. Do you want to go with me? Like, that's always an option.
You just hit the nail on the head on that one, in my opinion.
Well,
leading by example is everything.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But
Keep going. But yeah, like the conversation, what would you say?
Dude, I can only imagine being in that position. I've never been in that position, but I know that, like,
For me, when I was out of shape, I used alcohol to avoid it.
yeah.
And which made me even in less shape. Instead of admitting to myself, I'm out of shape and I'm not doing anything about it.
Let's bring it this real. I'm short, and we always go on this.
Mm-hmm.
That's my biggest insecurity is my height, 100%, right? What are my options regarding
Accept
that? Accept it or...
That's it.
Right.
Yeah.
Or live my entire life
Unhappy.
not happy.
Yeah, exactly.
So
Which, fuck that.
I could bullshit everybody and say, I've never been insecure about that at all. My height, it doesn't bother me.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, it doesn't bother me. No.
But it does bother you.
But it does bother me.
Yeah.
So if I kid myself, that's my reality. That's where I'm staying. I'm always going to be,
It's your story.
that's my story. If you're obese and you want to get fit, but you keep telling yourself you don't care because you're happy with yourself,
I know.
you are going to
You're
turn
gonna
yourself
stay where you
into
are.
that story.
You just convinced yourself you don't need to change. You've heard of the 3 S's: story, state, and strategy.
Yes. From
So-
you, I'm sure.
So this is Tony Robbins came up with these. They're phenomenal. So if you want to have a breakthrough in anything, you need all 3 of these. Strategy is what we focus on. It's like, how do I get fit? That's
Right.
why I'm the why guy, because I want to talk about the story, because that's what's really going to change
Yeah.
people. 80% psychology, only 20% mechanics. Strategy is basically a recipe. If we make chocolate cake, he uses this analogy a lot. If I have your recipe, I can make the same chocolate cake you make. If you're getting a result that I want, what's your recipe? I just implement it.
Right.
Problem is most people don't do it. You can give me your recipe, but if I've
Right.
never cooked before and I don't know how to follow through and I don't have self-discipline, and if I'm watching Netflix instead of doing it consistently, I'm not going to get the result.
Right.
And then I'm going to tell myself a story. I'm just big boned. See, story, state, and strategy. State is the state of mind you're in. You talk about this all the time. I actually read it in The Office. You have a vision board from back in the day, which fascinating to see how much you've
Right.
changed.
Right.
Crazy. But you said something on that vision board. You
Hold
wrote.
on.
You
You're
wrote.
gonna, knowledge is...
No. So I love that too. Knowledge is only potential power. So that's another thing. But you wrote down what you thought in a positive state is the truth.
Oh, yeah.
Something like that.
Yep.
So the way I can explain this best is your current state is how you feel in the moment about yourself and physiology. Like if you're breathing well and you feel vibrant and alive, you're not tired. If you took good care of the machine and health habits, the machine is going to chirp less, and you're going to be tuned into more of a success-oriented state of mind.
Yeah.
For example,
You don't need as much maintenance on your parts, so your parts can do more work.
exactly. And you can think more long-term because you're less worried about your needs in the
Right.
moment. Like if you have to pee terribly bad right
Which
now,
I do.
which
No,
you do,
no, I'm kidding.
you're not going to be as effective on other
Right.
focused
Right.
things. So everyone's been in a bad state before, an unresourceful state
Yep.
where they yelled at someone or lost their temper or got angry and Tom is still out there
Tom's
pacing.
around on the porch. We're
And,
almost done. We got another.
We're almost done.
Yeah.
This is huge, though. So when you're in an unresourceful state, you say something you didn't mean to, you do something you didn't mean to. That's why state is so important, because if you take good care of your body and you feel well, you're more likely to do well. And you're more likely to follow through. This morning, you were in a very unresourceful state when you woke up.
Oh, yeah.
And so the machine was saying, don't go, don't go,
Yep.
don't go. Luckily, you've developed so much self-discipline over the years and hyper-consciousness to say, I have to go.
Yep.
Forget the machine. My spirit is stronger, or whatever you want to call it.
So in a weird way, almost in a weird way, I had somebody tell me one time, I drove home from New York, New Jersey, somewhere.
Yep.
6 hours straight to the gym.
Yeah.
I went from New Jersey to Woburn to the gym, 2 o'clock in the morning.
Yeah.
And somebody was like,
Savage.
I could never do that. But that is my
Yeah.
part of my identity.
I know.
Part of my identity is doing that.
And what they just said to you is their
Is
story.
their story. And
It's
and-
a story.
Yeah, right.
They could do it.
Right.
100%.
Right.
Whether or not they will.
Exactly.
You're never going to do it when you convince yourself you couldn't.
I'm nothing special, Alan. I tell people that all the time. I am nothing fucking special.
I think
I'm
you
not.
are.
But
I
from
know
the
what you mean
aspect
by
of
that. Yeah.
2 years ago,
Yeah.
this wasn't a thing. Dreaming wasn't a thing. I didn't have dreams. I thought dreams were for people who were successful. I didn't
Interesting.
think dreams were a thing. I didn't have dreams, Alan. I didn't know what I was going to do with my life. I'm no different. If you're sitting there thinking to yourself like, fuck, you guys are saying, like, it makes sense. It makes so much sense what you're saying. I just can't do it. Yes, you fucking can.
You absolutely can.
I said that for 26 years. I couldn't do it.
Yeah.
You can do it.
You absolutely can.
You can
do it.
fucking do it.
You're not big boned. Even if you are big boned, that's the problem. We use these things that are true. Like maybe you don't have a lot of time. That's not the reason you're obese.
Right.
It's because you are eating things that you're not aware of.
Yeah.
There's always a reason. Find the reason. Once you know the reason and change your story, you can change the result.
And I want to make sure people know, like, I have love. I have so much love for everybody. But if you're lying to yourself and making excuses for yourself, you're not in a good place. You're just not.
You're not in the best place you could be.
I would be doing you a disservice
Yeah.
if I said, nope, you're fine.
I know.
You're fine the way you are. It's a weird thing, man, because everybody wants to, like,
I know.
You're not supposed to say, you need to be this, you need to be that.
They don't need to do anything. But for them,
you need to do what you feel.
Yes. Yeah.
You need to do what you feel. And if you come to me and we learn together that what you feel is growth, betterment, chasing your dreams, finding your passion, weight loss,
being in better shape. Yeah.
I will do whatever it takes to help you get there.
Yeah.
But if you come to me and say, yeah, I'm happy with where I am.
People have all heard about
Okay.
tough love. We get tough love
For
a
sure.
lot from people on our dream team. It also needs to be balanced, as we've talked about.
Yep.
Be a friend
Lead-
first,
lead
a
with
coach
praise.
second.
Lead with praise.
Lead with praise. Friend first, coach second. Be an intimate partner first, coach second. So I think that we should use story, state, and strategy with a hypothetical.
Sure.
So the chick who you said was diabetes, your daughter, in this hypothetical
Yeah, yeah,
situation, she what was it? She was obese. She had
She's
diabetes.
obese. She's pre-diabetic.
Okay.
We'll just say that.
Okay.
And she doesn't. We'll say this is another thing, right? Like, she's afraid. She's embarrassed. She's
Yeah.
self-conscious, so she doesn't want to go to the gym.
Yeah.
Because she doesn't want people to see her there.
Exactly. Okay, perfect. So her story is probably something along the lines of, this is how I was born. This is just how it has to be.
Right.
I'm just obese. Like, no matter what I do, I've tried everything, right? No, you haven't tried everything. You know, if you tried everything, you'd have the result.
Right.
You know, as long as you tell yourself you've tried everything, you're giving yourself an excuse not to try the next thing.
Look at Catherine.
Which might be the thing. Exactly. She
Catherine,
studied
she
and then
failed for 3 years.
for 3 years
straight.
before she figured it out.
And then she figured it out. She
Yep.
never quit.
Yep.
Now
we
look
all
at her.
failed for 3 years in fitness, by the way.
Right. I failed for more than that.
So story, state, and strategy. So that was her story. I've tried everything.
Yep.
Right. Her state, not a good one. She probably feels like
Self-conscious.
shit all the
Yep.
time.
Super
Emotionally,
insecure.
exactly.
Physically, probably feels bad.
And strategy. Maybe she doesn't know how to lose weight.
Right.
Obviously, she doesn't if she thinks she's tried everything. So imagine if you're in a situation where you're obese. Copeland, let's use Copeland. Because honestly, he's totally okay. He's open with this. He's our boy. Copeland was 340 plus pounds, man. Morbidly obese, having heart palpitations, like struggling,
Yeah.
right? He's 120 pounds down now. How did he do it? Okay. His story used to be, and I remember this, and he would attest to this if he was on the podcast. It used to be, I've tried everything. It used to be, I don't want to be in shape. You tell yourself a story.
Right.
I'm okay this way, right? So that's his story. His strategy was, when he lost weight the first time, just cardio. Just keep running and keep running until and eventually he was doing 7 miles a day and not losing weight and eating almost nothing because it wasn't a sustainable strategy. And his state, when you're 340 pounds, man, you don't wake up excited to go to the gym.
No,
you
God,
wake
no.
up barely breathing.
God, no.
Fuck. So imagine if your story, state, and strategy are all shit. You're going to feel stuck. And that's where a lot of people are. And the only way your story changes and your state changes and your strategy changes is by listening to podcasts like this and getting around people who want to help you improve regardless of themselves and who are going to tell you the truth, not what you want to hear, but what you need to hear.
I used to be a personal trainer. And I won't say where because they might not like this, but fuck them.
Can I say it?
No. Basically, they taught me how to sell packages to people by saying,
It'll be easy.
I understand it's expensive, but your money means nothing to you when you're dead. Basically.
Interesting.
Super tough love.
Yeah, wow.
Super tough love. They ran a very successful business.
Yeah.
Very successful.
Yeah.
So,
My
again...
other friends worked for them too out in LA.
Yeah. So...
Interesting company. Jesus.
Yeah. But regardless, whatever. That's them.
Yeah.
They're caking it. They're making money. They're doing their thing. Whatever.
And
That's
they are
not
getting people healthy.
It's not my style. I'm not a salesman.
Yeah.
I just never have been, nor do I desire to be.
At least in that
Watch
way.
the podcast.
Yeah.
But so that is, if you don't want to do it for aesthetic purposes, I don't want to look like her. Like, I don't ever want to, if my daughter said that, we'll say her name's Brittany. Brittany's my daughter.
Yeah.
I don't ever want to look like Paige Hathaway. Okay.
Yeah.
Don't worry about it. You don't have to.
Yeah, and you're not just gonna fall into that.
Right. It doesn't work like that.
Yeah.
But what about everything else? Like, what about staying alive?
Don't you want to look better than you do?
No, I don't even care about that.
Oh,
Let's
okay.
not
Not
even talk
even
about
looks.
looks.
Yeah. Don't you want to be around?
Do you want to live to 40?
Yeah.
Do you or don't you? Because you can tell me all day you don't care about what you look like, but if you don't care about staying alive, that's a fundamental issue. And I think you're lying.
Yeah.
Unless you're suicidal, and that is a
honestly,
whole nother thing for another day. But
If you're saying to yourself that you don't care if you're in better shape, I think you're lying.
I do too.
I know because I was lying to myself.
Would you like to make more money?
Yes.
Would you like a bigger house?
Yes.
Would you like a faster car?
Yes. Would I
Yeah.
like to be in better shape? Fuck yes.
Yeah, even, like, I would like to be in better shape.
Yeah. Exactly.
Everybody, like, I don't, it just,
It's how we're wired
it
as
is a
humans.
disconnect to me.
Yeah.
Don't
It's a story that
don't
you're telling yourself.
Don't fear feedback so much that you lie yourself into believing that you don't want better for yourself.
You ever notice that, and I've noticed this because I told you before this podcast that I sometimes was a coach first, friend second.
Yes.
Big mistake, especially when I started getting into personal growth. Sometimes I made the mistake of trying to tell other people how to live their lives, and it's what I thought was best for them, even if they didn't want to hear it. So you gotta be a friend first and a coach second. Lead with praise, lead with what is amazing about them. And eventually, if you do have a nugget here and there that might help them stir the pot for them, then that's awesome. I think there have been instances in my life where I don't like to give advice to anyone unless I can sense that they want it for themselves. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I do.
Like, because if they don't want it, and it's hard to figure this out because they're going to say they don't want it. What's a good example of this? There's a friend of mine recently who I can tell wants to be in better shape, but he's been telling himself for a very long time that he doesn't give a shit about being in shape.
Yeah.
When he clearly does, by the way. Every time I'm around him, he's like, fuck, you're in better shape again. And it's like, you can tell he wants it. I've been there. And I want to help. How do you help someone like that, Kevin? Seriously.
You figure out what they want. You figure out what drives
So you know
them.
what they want. Oh, okay. So in this instance, what drives this person is he wants to be the strongest in the room. He's very mastery driven. He wants to be the smartest he can be. He does. He wants to be the best version of himself. But this is an area of his life that he's never mastered.
Fitness.
Fitness.
I would tell him to get in rooms with bigger people.
Yeah.
Well, if you haven't mastered it, you should not want to be the best in the room.
But not being the best in the room is how you master something. You with boxing, for example, if you were to go to a gym with professional boxers, you would have to elevate your game
That's what I mean.
just to be in the gym.
Yeah, that's what I mean.
Okay.
He should, instead of worrying about being the best, he should hang out with people who are far better than him.
Yeah, exactly.
That's what I mean.
Exactly. Okay.
That's not how you don't learn.
What about people who are afraid of that? So I notice that a lot of people have
are.
a very strong aversion to these kinds of conversations.
Right.
I used to try to bring these conversations up to everybody, and then I realized very quick that a lot of people don't like this.
Yeah.
So now we have a podcast. If you like it, you'll listen. If you don't like it, you won't.
Right.
Which is fine. How do we expose people to some of these kinds of conversations that will help them, but it does hurt in the moment? It just does. Like, it's always gonna hurt in the moment. Like, people used to try to tell me, Alan, 7 shots is a lot. You should stop. And I hated hearing it because it was true, but it did help. It got me thinking later that night, like, oh, maybe I should fucking figure this out.
Dude, honest, it goes back to this, man.
It goes back to tough love.
It goes back to tough love, but it also goes back to, if you have high standards for your hopes, dreams, and successes, you are going to have different maintenance that somebody that is just okay with where they are. If you're okay with where you are, you're not gonna be searching for the feedback. This is feedback.
Yeah.
Whatever
Every
we get
time.
from this is going to be feedback.
Every time.
Somebody who just goes to their 9 to 5 every day, and again, people think I hate on 9 to 5s. I don't.
But
I
they
know
have
a lot
like
of
a
people,
yearly review, and people hate it. It's
Well, of course.
But that's the only way you improve.
Of course, they hate it, but they also hate their job.
Yeah.
I don't want to be reviewed for something I don't like.
Yeah.
Of course, I'm not going to
from
be
someone I don't like.
right. Of course, I'm not going to be good at it.
Yeah. Interesting.
But I don't know what I was talking about.
I'm sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt you.
No.
But if people linked up that the only way they're going to improve is if they go get feedback. That's why I love the gym, because it's immediate feedback. You with chest today, you did bench press.
Yeah.
And you foam rolled a bunch in the last 2 days.
So
and you noticed the difference
This
right
is what
away.
I talked to you the other day about this.
Yeah.
I was making a podcast teaser clip with subtitles is not easy. It actually, it's not hard. It's just super time consuming and super. You got to be fucking on for the however many hours you're doing.
Yeah,
it for.
the ride.
I won't tell you how long it takes. But that, to me, I woke up and I was like, I do not want to do this today. Fuck. I know why. I self-diagnosed and I figured out after I did it the first time, I didn't get famous. So I thought I was.
Yeah.
But not
No,
seriously.
no.
But I didn't get
The result you hope.
the result I hoped.
Yeah.
Which we often don't, because if we did, we wouldn't try again.
Yeah.
Regardless.
Seems so simple now.
So my shoulder's been bothering me to the point where the other day I literally couldn't even lift it over my head.
Yeah.
I went and saw Mama Ryan, Matt's mom. She took care of me. She looked at me and said, "Oh, you're pinching. You have." She used the real word, the right word, but it's pinching because your chest is rolled forward because your chest is super tight. Do you ever foam roll it? I was like, I didn't even know you could foam roll your chest.
Feedback.
Stupid me.
Feedback.
Right. And I felt like a fucking idiot.
You did.
I felt like an idiot. But
But
I've been foam rolling for the 3 days.
perfect example.
3 days.
Yep.
And I have felt better in the last 3 days than I have my entire life. Do you think I'm going to stop foam rolling anytime soon?
Nope.
No.
Nope.
Immediate
And
results.
That only came because of the tough feedback.
Exactly.
Of feeling like an idiot.
Feeling like an idiot.
You have to be willing to feel like an idiot.
I'm supposed
Every
to know
time
it
I have-
all. I'm supposed to know everything about fitness.
Dude, right?
I didn't know that.
I didn't even know you could foam roll your
Right?
chest, really.
I mean, I did kind of, but not to that
You know how many
extent.
times someone's come up to me and said, Alan, how could someone so smart be so dumb? They're joking. But they're kind of not. Because sometimes there's little shit that I just overlook because I'm human.
What if it was this, man? What if you're building a skyscraper and you realize like you're going to have to get some windows smashed along the way? Just how it is.
It's how it is.
It's how it is. But if you want to live under the ground and have no windows at all, okay, whatever.
It's such a great analogy.
You can do
love
that.
the analogies,
I love
man.
analogies.
That's so legit.
It's strange, man. Making analogies is scary though, because when
So
you
legit.
start them, you have no idea how it's going to come out. Like you don't know how it's going to finish.
It was great, though.
Well, I appreciate that.
That's very
But
good.
if you want to play in the major leagues, you're gonna get scouted. You're gonna get.
I know.
People are. If you want to,
You're
be
gonna get
seen,
haters, you're gonna get-
people are going to judge you.
Yep, people are gonna judge you, yeah.
I know it seems like we're coming off super hard,
It's the nature of this podcast.
It
Yeah,
is.
but let's end on that. 'Cause-
but I want people
Yeah.
to know. This is for people who have been following since the beginning.
Yeah.
If you followed the change in me, if you followed the change in Alan,
yeah.
And we're going to have guests on that we've had on before, and you're going to see changes in them. I guarantee it.
Yep.
The reason those changes happen is because conversations like this
Change lives.
change lives. He's got. I didn't say, is there anything you want to plug, Alan? We're not there yet. But this is the conversation Alan and I have. Like, he hit me up and said, "Yo, you misspelt this word." Okay. Like,
Yeah.
fuck you, man.
Yeah.
No. Just, oh, dude, good catch. I appreciate that. That's constructive
I
criticism.
try to say it in a way that's like with a winky face or
Right.
playful.
But
being playful.
my hope
about
is
it.
that people who have been following this podcast from the beginning will see the growth in me. They'll see the growth in you.
and the growth in the podcast.
And they'll feel the growth in themselves. And this won't be so foreign to them where it's
Yeah.
like, I can't take that feedback.
Yeah.
Yes, you can.
Yes, you can.
Yes, you can. I guarantee
You're
you
going to
can.
be better for it.
I guarantee you can. I love everybody. I love people.
Yeah.
I do. But
That's why we do this.
it pains me to see people who are living well below their
Potential.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because that used to be me.
That used to be me as well, man. For very many years, I lived below my potential.
And now I look at people, and I'll see, like, somebody will come and be like, oh, yeah, I really want to, like, this is my dream physique. I want to look like this person. And old me would have been like, oh, God, no way.
Yeah.
No way. But now it's like, you could. You could.
You absolutely can.
You just got to do it.
Yeah.
I'm just so fucking passionate about it.
love
So
it.
I don't want people to think I'm hating. Like, I'm not hating on if you're a child and you have a child and they're getting bullied, my heart is with you. My heart is with you, and reach out. I'll try to help in any way I can. I don't have a lot of experience in that, but that's not what I'm talking about. I'm not talking about being soft when it comes to that.
Yeah.
I'm talking about being soft when it comes to looking yourself in the mirror and realizing you're living below your standards.
Yeah. How do you know when to be compassionate with someone versus tough love?
Tough. It's tough.
It's very difficult.
It depends. If it's in person, body language gives it away.
Yeah.
Uh,
I just say don't kick someone while they're down. Lift them up first.
yeah, and then kick them.
And, well, nudge them. Nudge them. Nudge them. Give them a little nudge.
I'm kidding.
Nate does it to me really, really well. He can tell when I'm in a negative emotional place, and he will lift me up before he tells me the harsher truth.
I think, man, if you want to be the best version of yourself, you need the harsh truths. Because
Eventually, yeah.
a lot of times you're not willing to admit them to yourself.
What if all you get is harsh truth? Though?
You're in trouble.
Then self-esteem's gonna be in the
Yeah.
tank. Yeah.
Yeah.
And so if you're hard on yourself and everyone else is hard on you, and it's all coming at once, I do want people to realize there's a balance.
Yeah.
Here, don't be just because that's how you want to stretch the rubber band. You want to stretch your
Yeah.
potential. You want to challenge yourself, but you don't want it to snap.
No.
So
No.
if you feel like you're like prep is a great example, show prep. You don't want to snap. I want to win this show, but not at the expense of my sanity. Right. So find that line, and most of us are way below that line.
Right.
You know?
If you had to sum this up, because I'm trying to sum it up in a way like
Yeah.
I realize I hated on one thing and then I was like super loving on another. And I want people to understand like
they're connected.
everything's connected
Yeah.
for this. But if you had to sum this hour-long episode up,
Wow,
just
it's
with a quick little, this is what you'll take. This is what I want you to take. I may have said a lot of things, but the cheat sheet for what I want you to take away is this.
doing things that challenge you, that will stimulate growth within you, are always going to provide some level of feedback. And that's a good thing. It's going to hurt in the moment, but in the long run, it's going to be in your best interest.
Good. Yeah. Don't fear feedback
Yeah.
because feedback will ultimately get you to the next level.
Yeah. And progress equals happiness. So you'll be happy along the way,
Right.
even though it's going to hurt every now and then.
Right. I mean, I think when I say has America gone soft, it's strange because it changed. This episode changed. Like when we started talking, it was about Tide Pods and how, but that's not what it is. It's not that. It's
Well, we talked about the 7th place trophies. We talked about all that.
but
the culture as a culture.
It's you. It's me. It's what's in you. It's what's inside of you that is going to determine what happens to you.
for sure.
Either I want you to know that you can fucking do it. You can, whatever it is. I don't care what it is. You can do it. But not if you're soft to the point where you won't get out of bed because it's uncomfortable. You won't walk across the room to talk to that woman because you're afraid of getting rejected. These are things that I deal with. I've dealt with. I understand that. That's why I'm so passionate about these people getting over that. Because I was you. That's what I want people to realize is I'm hard on you because I was you. That's it. That's it. And I love you.
I don't think people should. I love that, man. I don't think people should chase comfort as much as they do.
I'm sweating
Here's
profusely.
You want to know? Reading history for me gives me perspective on how good life actually
Gives
is
me,
for
you know what it
us.
gives me?
What?
A headache.
Reading history.
But I'm bum tisk.
I was reading a biography on Winston Churchill, World War II. I mean, come on, we have it so good.
Oh, for
we
sure.
have it so good. Talk about real problems. Jesus, just realize. I always say that so much more has been done with so much less. R.I.P. Oh my God, Stephen Hawking.
Yeah.
He had every disadvantage
Right.
on planet Earth. He couldn't move, couldn't speak. He changed the world.
Right.
We have no excuse. Be your best self. Stop chasing comfort. Go take a cold shower. Do a bunch of push-ups. Go outside with a fucking coat
Right.
every once in a while.
10-second
It's going to
rule.
make you better. I'm sorry, but it is.
do the 10-second
We're always
rule.
chasing comfort all the time, and it's making us fucking soft. And I'm sorry, but this episode was about tough love, and I think that tough love, it needs to be balanced, but it's so critical.
I agree. I couldn't agree more. I think we started off, I don't know. I don't think the Tide Pod thing is where I wanted to start, but it got us where
Yep.
I think it needed to go.
For sure.
I
It's a
think-
great episode.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
Phenomenal.
And I think, dude, it's so real. All this feels so real to me because it's not that far away in the rear view. I know these feelings. And that's why I may seem hard on you people, you folks, you listeners, you fans, even you people that don't you listen because you want to see me fail. Whatever, that's fine. I appreciate your support regardless. But I have love for everybody who wants to get better.
And be a better human being.
Because why wouldn't you?
Yeah.
You get this. You have one body. You have one mind. You have one life.
One life.
Why wouldn't you make of it the most you could?
One fucking life.
You
Make
is that
the
it?
most of it.
Is that all you got?
That's all I got.
Is that all you got?
More
Should we
is-
let Tom in? Tom's getting. Tom's chasing feedback out there. He's like freezing his dick
He's
off.
out there.
Oh no,
Yeah.
he's frozen. He's frozen to the pole.
He's frozen dead.
He's
No.
dead. All right, ladies and gents. Again, tough love is still love, and you guys can do whatever the fuck you want. You just gotta.
And we love you.
You just gotta be willing to crawl through the mud.
Crawl through that mud. Get to the higher ground.
Get to the higher ground.